This is Tom Bain.
What is this?
This is Wine, Money, and Song. And if you're interested in wine and you want to learn about the best values in wine, please subscribe. So for the next two episodes, we're going to be revising the 1855 Bordeaux classification. Now, it's almost 200 years since that classification took place, and I'm going to elevate two wines and I'm going to demote two wines. And the next episode I will do the same. And I think these chateaus that are going to be elevated are pretty obvious. And they really deserve to be in the higher classifications. And the ones I'm demoting really don't deserve to be where they are. And just to remind you that I did work 20 years in the Bordeaux importing business, and probably 85% of all the business we did was in Bordeaux. And I did it for a couple of decades, and I love Bordeaux. I have a nice collection of Bordeaux. I've been drinking it for 40-something years, and I love Bordeaux. So I have a good background, and this is my input into it. So the first two wines we're getting rid of is Romain Gassi and Dufault Vivance. And there's a coincidence in these two second growths. They're both from Margaux. And if you go through the whole system of looking at the classifications, there's a lot of Margaux in there. And you want to talk about the most underperforming appellation in Bordeaux, it's Margaux. All right. So the Rosan Gassi was originally part of Rosan Segla, and when the French Revolution happened, the church divided it up and it became Rosan Gassi and Rosan Segla. And Segla, I must say, in the last 30 or 40 years has been making outstanding wine, especially with Chanel owning it. Dufault Vivance, even though the Lortan family owns it, it's a real underperformer. And I don't know if they don't have a good plot of soil or whatever, but they're gone. They're out of there. So the first wine we're going to promote is Chateau Palmer, and the second wine is going to be Lynch Bage. So I'm going to go through that next. As far as Chateau Palmer was a third growth, and we're elevating it to a second growth, and it's quite obvious it belongs there. Originally, Charles Palmer, who was a general in the English army, bought the estate, and down the line, a syndicate bought it, and wine executive Peter Sichel was one of the people who bought in, and Peter Sichel was behind the famous brand of Blue Nun Liefraumilch.
Monday night was Nancy and lobster. Tuesday night, Marie and veal parmesan. Wednesday night, Monique and beef bourguignon.
For those occasions when you're not sure what you're having for dinner, bring along the wine that's correct with any dish. Blue Nun, the delicious imported white wine that goes as well with meat as it does with fish.
Friday night, oh yeah, Friday night.
And I remember that was one of the top imported wines back when I was in the 70s. They used to advertise on tea, Blue Nun. And he bought into it. And the one thing to understand about Palmer, why they're different, they have a very high percentage of Merlot in the wines. So the wines are more succulent, fragrant, and you get a lot of that crushed violets that you get in the in the Margaux region. And the wines are round and succulent. And some people say they have a little bit of Pomerol because of the 40% Merlot. But to understand, some years they make wines that are on the same level as Chateau Margaux. Same as the Chateau Margaux quality level. So they very easily deserve to be in the second growth category. And they're priced like they're a second growth already. And some of the vintages that are very, very well received are the 1970, the 1975, the 83. And the 83 might be one of the best wines of the vintage. Margaux's pretty good too in that vintage, but the 89 is very good. And since 2000, they make great wines. They're really very steady. And one little thing at the end of this, they have a very, very good second wine, and it's called Alter Ego, and it's under $100, and it's a very good Margaux. Their what you call second label, and if you can find that, that is a good way to taste the quality of a Margaux without having to spend $300 or $400. The second wine we're going to promote is Lynch Bages. Now, Lynch Bages is very, very famous. There was an Irishman who Thomas Lynch bought Lynch Bages originally. And I remember when I worked in New York, restaurants loved to put Lynch Bages on the list because Lynch was very easy to pronounce. It's not French, it's English. So a lot of Lynch Bages went on the list, along with Chateau Gloria, too, because it was easy to pronounce. But once the General sold the wines, back in 1973, the Casse family came in, and Jean-Michel Casse came in, and they changed a lot of things. Lynch Bages made some very good wines. The 75 was very good. The 70 was very good. But 72, 73, 74, they went through a period of mediocrity. But in 1980, they installed stainless steel fermenting vats, and that changed a lot for them. And they fixed up the Chateau in 1982 also. And they make a very, very masculine style. It's Pauliac, and it has a lot of grip, a lot of fruit. And if you think about the neighborhood where Lynch Bages is, they're surrounded by their neighbors, Mouton Rothschild, Lafitte Rothschild, Pichon Baron, and Pichon Lalande. So they're in the Tenderloin neighborhood there in Pauliac. And some of my favorite vintages from Lynch Bages is 1985, which is incredibly elegant wines. The 1985 vintage is a phenomenal vintage for balance and elegance. And it's very, very underrated. The 85 Lynch Bages, sensational. I only have a few magnums left of that. And it's a beautifully finessed wine. And the 1982 was very good. Excellent, but the 89 was sublime. Powerful, balanced, rich, tremendous wine. Just tremendous wine. Now, I think both of these wines, Palmer and Lynch Bages, obviously deserve to being elevated. And wine drinkers know, but moving Lynch Bages from fifth to second is kind of bold, but I don't think so. I think they deserve there. They're very consistent, and they've had great ownership. And all of the people who drink Bordeaux understand Palmer and Lynch Bages are some of the best wines made in Bordeaux.